Welcome back for our next edition of 10 in our top 100. This one you've been waiting for a while, and we apologize, but Jane's health has been a little iffy here and there. Yeah, it's been pretty bad. And I've been doing a lot of traveling for work, but we're here. Everything's going to calm down after next week with my last conference coming up, and we'll finish this up quickly. So without any further ado,
since I'm knocking it over,
very cute, our top 30. So want to start us off? What's your number 30?
Well, my number 30 is a story game. That's, I believe, pretty popular, and it's called Seventh Continent.
Ooh.
And yeah, this is a game where it's kind of choose your own adventure-ish, and you know, you go around and
do stuff.
Do different choices.
That's like open world, almost sandbox.
It's almost sandboxy, but yeah, I mean, and I think the complaints about it is it can be a little slow developing, and I don't mind that. I really just kind of like that you can go down dead end threads basically.
Yeah.
I love the deck play and stuff like that. So, but the designers are Ludovic Rowdy and Bruno Sauter. The artist is Ludovic Rowdy, and the publisher was Sirius Paul. So, and they're coming out with Seventh Citadel,
yes,
which we did back on Kickstarter or late pledge actually, I think. So we have that coming as well, at some point. But I'm very excited for it because I really enjoyed Seventh Continent. Now we haven't played that much of it.
Well, story games were really hard for us for a little while, especially when you were at your worst. But
also we just didn't have the time. Whenever we dived in, we didn't have the time to dive in. So we need to dive in further into it. We have to finish it. So we have to do that someday. But it's on the list.
All right. Absolutely. That's a good one. I don't think it made my list just because I think recency bias. It was a while ago that we played it, and we didn't get into it as much as I would like to. But I do love that style of game. So I think this is one that's just going to really be a favorite. Well, my number 30 is up 5 from last time. It was 35 on my list last time. And that is Champions of Midgard with the Valhalla expansion. So we love this game. We love Vikings. I love going out there and fighting monsters. It's great because it's not a lot of head-to-head competition, but you're still battling. That's kind of what we like in a game. The Valhalla expansion is great because it takes the sting away from losing your dice that you fought so hard to get, because they kind of turn into, like, I don't know, heavenly warriors for you or something weird like that. But this one is just so much fun. And this is from designer Ole Steinus and Gray Fox Games.
Another game where you have to go, Valhalla!
Oh, yes.
It's very fun.
Absolutely. This is, I think, our favorite of the Midgard series, or at least my favorite of the Midgard series. Yeah. All right. That was my number 30.
All right. My number 29 was a surprise Spiel the Jar nominee this year, Iki.
Yes.
A surprise because it was released in 2015. We backed it on Kickstarter back then, and it was re-released recently, including a German release. Hence the fact that it qualifies for the Spiel the Jar. We really love Iki. What can I say about it? It's a cool Euro style game with a sort of a ratchet track in the middle that you can move faster on. You can manipulate how fast you move on it. The designer is Kuda Yamada. The artist was Dami, David Sitbon, and Kuda Yamada. Now, I don't know if that depends on what version you get, but and publisher is Utsurai. No idea.
Yeah, I don't know what ours is, if that's...
Yeah. So... Is it probably right behind us?
It's probably right behind us because we're in the Isle of Cats.
Iki would be over here.
Where is it? Why isn't it there?
I don't know.
Is it behind Istanbul? Oh, here it is.
We interrupt this message.
Yes.
So hold it up.
Kuda Yamada. Yep.
Right, there's Iki.
And it is Utsura. So we have the same, it's the same designer, same publisher. It's just a re-release this year.
Yeah, well, I knew it was the same designer.
Yeah. All right.
Anyway, I was just wondering about the art, like who did the art for which version?
Yeah.
Anyway, So it's the Edo period in Japan, Tokyo, and I was looking for the exact years, but I'm not sure. But uh, so it's kind of cool because it's focused on the markets and it's focused on, fire is a big thing, and of course during that period, fire was a big risk to a community. And so that's really neat and interesting, and it kind of works as a nemesis against your gameplay. So you got to really plan for it, and yeah. So that's my number 29. It's down 5 spots for me from 2020 when we last did this list. And no reason for that. We haven't played in a while, but just other games moving in probably. So
yeah, this was at my 91, which I know, which now I feel like because of all the hype about the new version coming out, it makes me remember how much I love it because everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, you
Puts
love
it
this
back.
game.
I know I love this game so much. So I think that
it's
was
a theme
just
that really appeals for you.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was just a sort of a weird occurrence, but it should be higher for me. But it's not, and that's where we are. So we're gonna live with it.
Okay, well, that's my number 29. Iki.
My number 29 is down 19 spots. It was 11 in 2020. And this is going to cause you some trauma, but it's Lisboa.
What?
What? I know. I love Lisboa, but there's other games that I...
Get her off the camera!
think I love. I don't even think it's my favorite Lacerda. But we'll see. No,
it's
it's
the best
definitely not.
Lacerda by far.
It's wonderful. I love it. It is my number 29 game. It is clearly one of my most favoriteest games of all time. Anyway, it's by
Disgraceful. Disgraceful.
It's by Vidal Lacerda, art by Ian O'Toole, published by Eagle Griffin Games. It is a super heavy game. Super heavy. It's, I think, the heaviest game that we have and have played. But I love it. I love Lacerda so much. And it's so beautiful and it's amazing. It's about the destruction of Lisbon. I forget the year now, but there was a
You
earthquake.
just haven't played it in a while.
Yeah.
That's got to be it because...
There was an earthquake, a tsunami, and a fire. All that happened like at the same time and just like destroyed the city of Lisboa.
One after another.
And you're coming in to rebuild it. And so it's typical Lacerda, super crunchy. The player aid is actually a player aid pamphlet. It's like 14 pages long. And I love it.
Is it that long?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's long.
It is. It is. And so that's my number 29, Lisboa.
Well, it's a good choice for your top 10.
What? I want to remind you, you had Bunny Kingdom in the 90s, so...
Where it belongs.
Now we're getting into some contention. All right.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
My number 28 is a game called Zulkin, the Mayan calendar. And this is one with just such a cool mechanism with these huge gears on the board. And you put your workers on them. And the longer you let them go on the wheels, the better your action can be. But you have to time it right. It's really tricky. And so it's hard to get the planning down exactly right. Really like this one. It's very thematically rich. So Zulkin is just a fantastic game. It's well rated, of course. It's top 100 BGG. It deserves it. It's just really clever design, very smart design. So it's and unique design. It's so unique.
So unique. Those gears.
So,
I may be talking about this more at some other point.
Yeah, this is a fantastic one. So that's mine. The designers are Simone Luciani and Danielle Tassini. It's of course one of the famous T games. The artist was Milan Vavron, and Czech Games Edition is the primary publisher. Doesn't Indie Board and Dice?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably have something to do with it too. There's 15 listed publishers, so.
Well, that is a very good choice. As I said, I will probably be talking about that a little bit more later.
Yeah, and as for where it stands for me, it is the exact same position. No, it's new to the list, so we must have played it after we did the list in 2020.
That is correct.
Okay.
So my number 28 is also new to the list. I think we played it before we did our list, but only once. But since then, we've done it. We've had it on a 5x5, and that is Orleans from Rainer Stockhausen, and Clemens Franz did the art for that. And that is from DLP Games. That doesn't sound right. I don't know. That's what I have as the publisher. It's another one that has a bunch of different publishers, so probably depends on which version you have. It's also right next to us, so I could probably peek over and look.
Which one are you looking for?
Orleans, it's right there.
Oh,
TMG.
TMG is our version.
TMG.
TMG's gone, though.
Right. That's true.
So,
I freaking love this game. Somebody recently was saying they didn't like it, and I don't know, remember who it was or why, but...
Well, there's something wrong with them, that's all.
Yeah, clearly.
I'm just kidding. You can dislike a game.
It's a bag builder, so love it. You're putting dice in there.
How are you off center again?
I don't know. I keep rolling around. My chair rolls. It's a bag builder, and you get dice that represent different like workers in your town, and you put them in your bag and you pull them out to determine your action for that round. And there's another board that you're traveling along to get resources and build up what are you building? Trading posts. And I really love it. This game is so satisfying to me. There's a lot going on. You're never really stuck without anything to do. The buildings that you can buy and put in your tableau that give you special powers just make it that much more interesting. And I love it. So that's my number 28, Orleans.
All right, now we're on to my 27. My number 27 is a game from Jordan Draper Games. This is a really fun trading game called Tokyo Metro. And it's got a big cloth map, and it's a bit like an 18XX game. You sell stock and stuff like that. So I don't know how closely aligns with like an 18XX. I don't know. I just know I really enjoy this one.
I loved this too when we played it. I was so shocked. I thought, I don't know, it sounded dry. It looked a little dry, but this game was enormously fun. I really like this.
We haven't played it in a long time. It did drop 13 spots for me. So we need to get back to the table now that we're playing games again, and hopefully we can continue and don't go through another hiccup like we just went through. Because board games are generally good for your health because there's a lot of downtime and there's a lot of, that kind of stuff. So, and I'd love to get this one back to the table. But it is June, and something you'll find out if you watch our videos, it's Feldfest time.
It is Feldfest.
So, we'll be talking some Feld coming up.
Yeah, baby. So excited for Feldfest. I've been waiting for this for 2 years.
So that's my number 27, down 13 slots, Tokyo Metro from Jordan Draper and Jordan Draper Games.
All right. Well, my 27 is new to the list, and it is Final Girl.
Ah, good choice.
Yep.
Very high.
I still have my little cursor over Lisboa, so I keep wanting to say the designer is Vital Lacerda of everything. This is from Evan Derrick and AJ Porfirio, and it's from Van Ryder Games. I love this. We play this as a cooperative game. One of the trips that I was on for work, Jane learned it, and when I came home, she taught it to me, and we played it cooperative. And I mean, that's fine for me.
And if you know the game, all we really did was put a cap on how many of the free cards you could play on your turn. You had to leave a certain amount for the other player. And it worked fine.
Yeah. So the premise of the game is that it's a horror movie, and you're the final girl. You're trying to outlive the bad guy. And so you're going around, you're trying to save civilians or townspeople or whatever they call them, and outrun the bad guy or kill the bad guy. I guess you're trying to you're trying to get out of it, right? You're trying to outrun him and get out of the
You're trying to kill him.
Right?
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
You have to hit him. Chop, chop.
Chop, chop. Okay, so you're trying to kill him.
Yep.
What's so cool about this is that there's a bunch of different modules. We have 6, 8 of them, 9, something like that, and each one is like its own little like horror movie.
We have the whole set because we have the first set and then we have the second set. Each box is like a VHS box.
Oh, it's so
it's got a
perfect.
magnetic cover that you take off and you use on the board.
Yeah, it's so thematic. It is so thematic. The art, the gameplay, the presentation of the whole thing is so thematic. I really, really am enamored with this game.
And the core mechanisms were reworked from a kidnapping game. What was it called? Hostage.
Oh, Hostage Negotiator?
Negotiator.
Yeah.
And I never played Hostage Negotiator, but the theme of Final Girl is so much better.
It is so good. Yeah, it is. So, well, that's my number 27 is Final Girl.
Nice choice. Nice choice. All right, my number 26 dropped 10 spots. This game is fantastic. Someday we're going to have to do another deep dive on it because, quite frankly, we need to do a deep dive on it. And because we have several versions of this now, and it's Hexplore It.
Ooh,
Hexplore It, whether it's Valley of the Dead King, the Forest of Agumon, there's different versions. This is such a great thing. You have these dry erase character sheets, and you can combine different races with different classes. And there's like 30 different classes and 30 different races, and I might be exaggerating one of them or understating one of them, to be honest. You know, so you can be an elven ranger, or you can be, you know, there's some standard classes, and there's some unique ones, I think, and races and stuff. But the whole idea is that you're you know, it's kind of a dungeon crawl, and you're traveling through this world, and it's an open world, kind of. You can go wherever you want, and you can go to shops, and you can go to shrines, and fight the big bad boss, and you got to find him. And he moves across the land, bringing darkness, and you know, like you're trying to stop that from happening. So it's cooperative, and it's a ton of fun. It's it's a good, very thematic game as well. It's just really, it's got a lot of richness going for it. I like the dry erase character sheets and boards with all the different, and you get special abilities and stuff, and you can level up, I believe. So it's been a while, so I can't remember how you level up, but I'm pretty sure you do. So anyway.
Well, I think I actually, that is something I remember. That was one of the reasons why you were going to shrines and places, is you had to build up the skill and gather the materials or tools, whatever, to fight the big bad.
Yeah. So anyway, that is my number 26, down 10 spots. So, I mean, not far. And it is Hexplore It. All of it. All versions.
That's a great choice. I love that game. My number 26 is down 22 spots. It was my number 5 game the last time, but I still love this game. It's the first game I ever bought for myself. It's the first game I taught myself, and it's the first game I soloed, and that is Eldritch Horror. Designed by I keep going to the wrong one. Corey Knizia and Nikki Valens, and published by Fantasy Flight Games. This is an epic, Eldritch based game. It's cooperative. You're traveling around the world and trying to gather the things that you need in order to fight off the Eldritch monsters. And it's hard, which is something I like in a cooperative game.
And a good cooperative game,
yeah. You don't want to just, win. The characters are super diverse, and this game really, it has a special spot in my heart because it was the first game, like I said, I bought for myself and taught myself and played solo, and it was the first time I ever experienced something that immersive in a game. But even beyond that, it's just a really good game. I really do love this game. Very thematic. Mechanisms are great. Beautiful artwork. Love it.
It's a good choice. All right, my number 25 is up 56 spots.
Wow.
This one's a climber. We've played a lot more of it since 2020. It is a fantastic game. Another cooperative sort of fighting game, and it's Aeon's End. And we love this game. This is one of the best deck builders we've played. It's got a cool no shuffle mechanism, which I think takes it a step up, because shuffling is a pain in the butt. Also, it wear and tear on your cards. But it helps the game move a little faster. And now I don't like the replace. They came out with a new version, Astro Knights. I do not like it nearly as much. core is still kind of there, so it's not bad if you're looking for an entry level, but it's more entry level, and it's the components are a little less smooth working, and I don't know, I just didn't like it as much.
Yeah,
The only
same.
thing better about it is setup was quicker. And there's a little bit of setup with ANZ, so it's got a little bit of that pandemic. You got to put the deck together and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so that's, but it's a fantastic cooperative game and deserves more praise
So
than it
much
gets,
more.
really.
Yeah.
So it's my 25 of 56 slots, ANZ.
All right, that is a great choice. I will be talking about that one later as well, I believe. And now I'm going to prove what I said a few minutes ago, because my number 25, which is down 17, it was 9 last year, or last time we did this, is The Gallerist. My favorite Vital Lacerda game, I believe, at this point, until we play some others.
The Gallerist is a good game, but it's no Lisboa.
I know, but I really like it. Also,
why are you punishing Lacerda?
What? It's his game. It's up here. He's got 2
dropping
games in my
like
top.
flies.
All right. We haven't played them recently, and I guess that's why. But this is also Vital Lacerda. Ian O'Toole is the artist, and it's from Eagle Griffin Games. I really love this game. I like it more than Lisboa. Honestly, I think because it's just a little bit less complicated. And it's still very heavy and complicated, don't get me wrong. There's also a great mechanism where you can sort of boot somebody out of a spot to use it that they're in. It's a worker placement, and that's a benefit to the other person too then, because your worker comes back to you. And I kind of like that way of making it not cutthroat, where you both kind of get what you need and you get a boon if somebody knocks you out of somewhere. And it's about running an art museum. And so the artwork is beautiful. It's got this little 3D easel that you can put your little thing painting on or whatever it is.
Part of the deluxe version that we got.
Yeah, of course. It's beautiful and clever, and I love worker placement games. It's definitely my favorite mechanism. And this is... yeah, this is my favorite Lacerda. This is my number 25, The Gallerist.
All right, good choice. Well, my number 24 is down 9 spots. This is a game that at one point was in my top 10. God knows when. And we've played it recently quite a bit. I really like it with the expansion even better. But I'm going to tell you why it dropped for me, and that is Agricola. Agricola, whatever you want to call it, is a fantastic worker placement game from Uwe Rosenberg, Lookout Games, artist Clemens Franz, and it's dropped for me specifically because of my cognitive impairment and the text-heavy cards. The text-heavy cards frustrate me. Not because they're not interesting or actually good mechanisms. They're fine mechanisms, but I struggle to read them all. And so we've been doing a draft to try to facilitate in a way that I only have to read a few at a time. And that's helped a little bit, but that's not enough. Like, I just struggle.
Yeah.
And so that's just on me, but it affects my joy of the game a little bit. That's a punishing game, so it's always had that sort of like...
it is so punishing.
Is it a little negative? It's a little negative there, but it's such a good, rich theme, and I love the theme. We played with the Farmers of the Moor expansion, loved it so much. I love how different it is, and the little extra actions it gives you, while also being, in a way, a little less punishing.
Yeah.
For not being able to feed your people. There's anyway, they have the whole cot thing.
Yeah. your player gets sick, your person gets sick and goes to bed, or I don't know,
something like that. It's interesting and fascinating. And so anyway, that is Agricola, my number 24. And down 9 slots since 2020, and still one of my top games.
All right. My number 24 is new to the list. And I can't remember if the other one that's like this is on the list higher, lower. but this is one of my favorite genres of games, and it's Chronicles of Crime. I love games where you are trying to solve a mystery. We just went through this whole binge of all of our sort of like mystery solving games and puzzle games. And there would be more on this list if we'd done that before we made the list, for sure. But I love those kind of games. They're clever, they're fun, they're immersive. You're trying to figure out the mystery, which we love mysteries. And Chronicles of Crime is a really good one. You know, it's app enabled, which which I've kind of come around to in some games, and I think on this
I prefer detective for that reason.
Yeah.
I don't like the app quite as much as I like the.
Yep.
I like moving pieces around on a board and the tangible manipulation.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do too, but I do like the depth that the app sort of can add to a game like this, and it also makes it just a little bit easier. The maintenance is a little bit easier rather than having to dig for certain cards. You just put in, like, I'm looking at, I'm in I don't know, in the study with the sledgehammer, and it'll give you the information. But I really just enjoy this genre of games so much. We haven't gotten as far into Chronicles of Crime as we would like to. Unfortunately, our friend Mel, who was our, companion for a lot of these games, has moved out of town, which is terrible for us. But we'll have to get back to it, because there's some historic games I'm really excited to play. And that is from David, I have no idea how to pronounce it. Sikirel. I am so sorry, David, for mispronouncing your name. You're a hell of a game designer, and you deserve better. And from Lucky Duck Games.
All right. My number 23 is a game we just played, but we hadn't played it in years, and we tried to play it in Board Game Arena, and I couldn't remember how to play. Viticulture.
That was a frustrating experience for both of us, I think.
Well, it's just because I couldn't remember how to play. And I was like, and it's starting to click a little bit after the game, but I still need to play another one to get it back. So I did learn. I did get some things down, like, while we were learning it, but I didn't score any points really, because I couldn't. I don't know. Like, I was not figuring out certain. I forgot a step in there, like bottling or something, and but I love the theme. It's actually up 10 spots of my thing, because I love the theme. I love the game, and it's just such a great game. Of course, it is from Jamie Stegmaier and Alan Stone of Stonemaier Games, and what a delightful game.
Yes.
The artists were Jackie Davis, David Montgomery, and Beth Sobel, our fave, and I don't know, good stuff.
Yeah. That is a really great game. It was frustrating to play it. Also, just sometimes I can't see the cards as easily on Board Game Arena, and that can be really difficult. But in general, Viticulture is a game that we really love. It's worker placement. The theme is great. The mechanisms go well with the theme. It's a great game.
And because I haven't been feeling well, I didn't necessarily want to take the time to read over the rules again.
Yeah.
So I was trying to fake it till you make it kind of thing. Yeah. And that did not work. So I'm going to have to go back over the rules, make sure I know them, get it back. And we should break it out sometime soon. But,
definitely.
That's a whole other can of worms. So anyway, my number 23, Viticulture.
Yes. Sorry. Well, I'm sensing a theme in the 20s here, because my number 23 is down 16, and it was number 8. And I think a lot of my top 10s from the last time have slipped into this rung, as other things have come in and moved up. And this was my gateway game. This is the game that got me into gaming. It has already been mentioned once this episode, and that is Agricola. Hey, medieval farming, sign me up. What a great theme. I love that shit.
Cutting some peat.
I love the theme. I love for me, especially as a new gamer, it blew my mind. I couldn't believe that there were games that were about something like medieval farming, which is fascinating to me. I agree, the Farmers of the Moor expansion is critical. It gives you another way to get wood, because that is the one issue with this game. I don't even know if it's an issue, but it's so tight. it can be painful. Like if you don't hop on that wood that one turn, you know, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get it, and you're not going to be able to upgrade your house until the next turn. And maybe then that won't even be enough and you'll have to go 2 turns. So it can be really tight. It can be brutal. We, like you said, or no, I don't think you said this, but we just played it again on BGA. And I forgot, like at the beginning of the game, I was like, well, this sucks. I'm losing this game. I'm horrible at this. I can't believe the way it's going. And then by the end, I'm like, yeah, baby, this is great. I mean, I lost, but you know, it just has that.
It's very punishing, especially early in the game. And then, the BGA interface, it took us both a little bit to get used to it. So
yeah, I still prefer.
It was like differently oriented from how I'm used to it because of our version of the game.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same version. We have the Z-Man game, actually, and there's some differences with that. I also don't. I don't know, this type of game is hard for me to play on BGA. I'll take it over not playing it, but I prefer, well, every game I prefer to play actually on a table. But this was a little bit difficult for me to adjust to on BGA. But I love this game. It will always have a place in my heart. I will always love it. And that is Agricola, or Agricola. I don't even know what's right anymore.
Agri.
Agro.
All right. My number 22 dropped 15 spots from my top 10 down to number 22. And it's a pretty popular game, although the roll and write's been getting some attention. That is the Isle of Cats. And this is from Frank West and City of Games. Dragalisco and Frank West did the art. And this is a really cool polyomino placement game. You're putting cats on a boat. That's pretty much it. You're drafting cards too, and trying to you need baskets to rescue your cats in, and you have to rescue them to put them on the boat, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's a fun game. I mean, it's just really fun. I love the tangible nature of the full board game.
Yep.
Obviously it dropped a bit just relative to other games, but it's a fantastic game, and its popularity is well deserved. It to me has the richness. I know another polyomino game that's really popular right now is Planet Unknown, but I feel like Isle of Cats has the
100%.
gameplay richness that Planet Unknown doesn't.
I agree.
I like Planet Unknown. I just don't see it as a, and you were just talking a minute ago about like mystery games and stuff like that, and I was gonna say, and I forgot, was another type of game that I have hard placement is, what do you do with a game like Emerald Flame? And that's a puzzle game we play that's fantastic. It's good enough to be my top 25, but once it's played, it's done.
Yeah.
So it's like a legacy game in that respect. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it in my top 100 or whatever. Maybe not mention it, or I can mention, there's multiple games from that publisher, but
I almost want to cheat and do a line that says like puzzle games, the best of which, or my favorite of which was this one, but that occupies like those one-off puzzle games like the Unlock series.
Well, it was the only one we played from this publisher, Post Curious. So, but we didn't play it till after we set the top 100, so it's not going to be in this one.
It would have been.
And this is a total tangent from the Isle of Cats, and I apologize. But I was thinking about it, and I wanted to mention it because the Emerald Flame is what the cats are running from.
It's all connected.
It's all connected to the world. All right, so anyway, my number 22 is the Isle of Cats.
I just want to say, I agree. The board game, the actual full-on board game, I prefer tremendously much over the roll and write. However, the roll and write is a very accessible, much more affordable way to get a similar experience. It is really good. In terms of implementations of a board game, it's probably one of the best roll and write implementations of a full board game.
It is.
You really get so much of the flavor in it.
You do. It's a really good implementation. And it's really good for when you don't have the time to pull out the full game.
Yeah. Or you can't move.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Well, my number 22 is another one that's down 16. It was in my top 10. Like I said, there's just been a massive shift down. And that is Tapestry. from Jamie Stegmaier and Stonemaier Games. You know, there's so many conversations about this game. Is it a Civ game? Kind of, but you can also...
I mean, it is a Civ game. It's just not necessarily chronologically accurate.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas a game like Through the Ages, you're building up over time, and you know, cards come out in some sort of chronological order. That's not the case in this game.
You're like nuclear power.
Yeah.
Wheel.
Yeah, but it's like you're moving on tracks, and who doesn't like to move on tracks? And then you've got this whole other separate board where you're putting 3-dimensional buildings on it and sort of trying to fill up your town, and you're building an engine while you're doing it. I mean, those are all things that are so satisfying and so fun in a game. I just really love Tapestry. I have to say, I don't love the arts and architecture expansion, the last one that just came out.
But I like it.
I mean, the problem is, here's my complaint, I'm going to tell you, is that it adds a whole nother track, right? A whole nother thing you can do, but it doesn't give you anything extra to let you do more. There's more to do, but you don't get to do more. So you're basically exchanging that track for another track. And I don't like that. It's just another
track you can focus on, but you almost have to ignore one track completely, or 2 tracks completely, which you might do in the base game originally, is ignore one track. But this should open the opportunity to not ignore. I don't know. It's just it's interesting.
I like when an expansion takes a base game and lets you do more. Right? It might give you more to do, but it also lets you do more. So you might still even have a tightness of resources, but it didn't get suddenly even tighter. Whereas I feel like this gets even tighter because you can't operate on all 5 tracks. That being said, without that expansion, I love Tapestry. It is my number 22.
All right. My next game is up 39 spots in my top 100 from 2020. I don't know what to say about this game, but it's just in time for Feldfest. It's
Woo!
Castles of Burgundy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be so tired after this. But anyway, you know, Castle of Burgundy from Stefan Feld is... Alea's publisher, or Ravensburger, depending what version you have. Julian Delvaux and Harold Liskey, sorry for pronunciations, are the artists. And we absolutely did back the super fancy Awakened Realms version coming out with all the miniatures, because this is going to be such a great game to have totally blitzed out. It's going to be so fun. And we just played it on Board Game Arena, and it's been a while, so I was a little rusty, actually.
I'm still not sure what we were doing.
So that's another one. I don't know. Sometimes when you don't get a game to the table for a while, even when you love, you kind of forget how to play, right? And it took a minute to get it down. I still didn't get 100%, but I got pretty close. So I won at least. So so anyway, what a great game. I think I also have Castles of Tuscany, which is kind of similar but simpler, I think, and it's fun. And it's fun. I don't know if we need both, but we have both.
Yeah, I think probably we could live with just one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so, but I'm not in a rush to get rid of it either. So on the other front, Castles of Burgundy, the dice game, is actually quite good. It's a good, not quite as good roll and write implementation as the Isle of Cats one, but it's a pretty good, light, quick version of Castles of Burgundy. Yeah, it gives you the feel.
I'll tell you, the fact that we've played that like 30 times was one of the things that helped me kind of remember when we were playing on BGA, Castles of Burgundy, because it really is a true to the board game adaptation roll and write. Sometimes they're just like inspired by, but this is pretty good. It's a pretty good approximation.
It obviously drops like the resources, and it drops what else does it drop? It drops other things. Obviously, the drafting mechanism is totally different. Like, it's based on dice rolls and stuff like that. So, but it's got a neat mechanism in the roll and write with the time.
Yeah.
It's got a time die, and it's either 1 or 2 clicks, and so every game has a variable amount of turns, which I think is kind of neat.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's it.
But we like that. We like the roll and write too. Obviously, again, we'd rather play the real thing or the big thing, the table thing.
So that's my number 21, Stefan Feld and Castles of Burgundy.
Indeed. All right. Well, my number 21 is down 7. So it was 15. It wasn't my top 10. And that is Heaven and Ale.
Oh.
From Michael Kiesling and Andreas Schmidt, and published by Eggert Spiel. Oh, this game is so good. It's got the ratchet track, and you are growing hops and brewing beer and growing wheat, and you have a mat board that you're putting your tiles out on to kind of build out your fields, I think it is. And the scoring mechanism is really cool. So you move up based on a bunch of different factors, but you've got 4 different factors, 4 different like scoring cubes that are going up. You're going to score based on the difference between the farthest one and the lowest one, right? So if you ignore them and get one all the way, but you've got one down at the bottom, your score is going to be really small.
Yep.
So you want to make sure that you're scoring. I didn't explain that very well. But you get it. You get it. They get it. They get it.
Do they though?
No, probably not.
Teasing. Just teasing.
It's something like that. I get it in my head. I understand it in my head. I can't get the words out. But it means that you can't ignore any one facet of the game. Something I always appreciate in a game, because it's like trying to find that balance is so much fun, because you can do it a bunch of different ways. And it means that the game has a lot of replayability, and it's, really thinky and thematic. And we love to play this during Oktoberfest or anytime, really. And that is my number 21, Heaven and Ale.
All right, that's our 30 to 21. Sorry it's been so long since our last video. Again, my health dictates a lot, and even when we do film, I crash after usually. So, that's just kind of what goes into it. So, but it's fun for us to do. It gives me something to do, really, to be honest, which I enjoy.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know what else we have to say.
That's it. Just check out the earlier ones if you haven't seen them, are 100 through 40, 30, 31.
100 to 31, yeah.
Yeah. And then we will get the next 2 installments of this out much quicker.
Yeah. I think I should be able to, function enough to get a couple of videos out.
Yeah, and I won't be traveling.
I think some of our ambition with the channel maybe just dial back a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for joining, and let us know in the comments below. What do you like? What is in your top 30? Do you disagree with any of these games? Yep. What do you think?
Yeah, that's fine. You can disagree with everything, but
yeah. Just want to hear what you think.
Remember, every day that you game
is a holiday.
Bye.
Bye.